everybody and welcome back to my channel. We're now on to part 6 of this real-time tutorial, and we're going to start by adding some of the fur around this face. I think we're going to start, if I just move him upwards, on this side and get this ear in, and then we can start coming down his face. So this is going to be about the black fur, but we do have some of the white fur transitioning into this black fur. So I will show you how I do that and make it look natural. All the other parts will be linked below if you've not seen any of the other parts. All the information you need is also below. Again, if you have any questions, let me know and let's get started. So first of all, I've got my warm grey one, and I'm just going to follow the fur direction. Now here we've got the eye is sort of going to be around this area. So if you look closely at the reference photo, you've got a bit of the fur coming up here, but then it goes that way, it goes sideways. So make sure you're really looking at the reference photo when we're drawing this piece. It's going to be very helpful when it comes to the fur direction, especially around this part, because obviously we can't see the second eye. So I've got the warm grey one as a base layer, and I'm going upwards here where I can see that the fur is curving up and over the eyebrow. And this is going to be your base layer. Now, because this is quite dark fur, we're not going to be going in with all the lighter colours first. We can start going straight in with the darker colours. And then here it's going across. So I'm just going to use horizontal strokes. And I've left a little gap here. We are going to be merging the white fur and the black fur. We want them to blend nicely, so I'm just leaving a gap so I can make sure that happens. I'm then going to get the warm grey 6. Now the warm grey 6 I'm going to use in this corner, and we're going to get this bit mapped in first, just so we're not confusing ourselves between which areas are which. And I've used lighter pressure first along here, and I'm just following the fur direction. And then we've got like an eyelash here, and you've got one down here as well. And then I'm just going to go over that a couple of times just to darken it up. So this is the warm grey 6. Okay, so you can see how we're starting to get some shape coming into this face now. I'm going to go over this warm grey 6 with the cold grey 6. Pressing a little harder now. And then if we do need to darken this once we start getting the rest of the face in, we can with like the Paynes Grey or the black, which I may do in this corner section, but we will see. Okay. Then I am going to get my dark indigo. So there is a bluish tone along here. So dark indigo and Paynes Grey is probably going to be used a lot in this fur. So yeah, let's get the dark indigo. Okay, I've just zoomed you in a bit, so hopefully you can see this better. You're not as far away now. So I've got the dark indigo, and again I'm following the shape. Now I am creating like almost a harsher line along this muzzle here because it's not blending into the fur at this point. And then I'm following that fur direction. It's curving up and over the eye. This is like your eyebrow. And remember, if you're not sure on the structure of the animal you're drawing, have a look and Google like the anatomy of the dog's head, names of the dog's head, and then as you're drawing you can refer back to that, and it will help you understand what area you're drawing, especially if you're not familiar with the animal. And obviously points will vary, but the points of the dog are all in a similar place. Like here is what we call the stop. At the top of the head is the occiput. Obviously you've got the cheeks, the nose, so everything's there. It's just having it in relation to the breed of dog that you're drawing, which is where, as I've mentioned in a previous video, referring to like a breed standard will help you understand what that dog should look like. Okay, so that's the dark indigo. I'm going to come over with the warm grey 6. And that's about halfway. So I'm not covering all of that dark indigo. I'm going about halfway with this warm grey 6. So I'm hoping to get these all filmed fairly quickly. Didn't manage to get any filming done yesterday. I went to Richmond in North Yorkshire because I've got 2 pieces hung in an exhibition. So I went to see the exhibition, I went to see my pieces hanging, which was awesome. Quite surreal feeling seeing your pieces hung in your gallery as well. And then I saw a red dot on one of them, so one of my pieces is sold, which is even more exciting. I've now got the black, and I'm just going to darken here. Pressing fairly hard now. Okay, get the warm grey one again. It's the base layer. This time it's going up, so the fur here is going up and over, so my fur direction is going to start resembling that here. Again, I'm just leaving a little gap near where this white fur is going to transition. Start getting that transition in. I do need to erase that graphite as well. And then it's curving, so it's still curving. So the fur direction is curving up and over here, but as we come in here, it's curving round here. So make sure you're following this fur direction. Keep looking back at that reference photo just to see the direction that this fur is going in. So that's the warm grey one as a base layer again. I've then got warm grey 5. And I'm blending over this warm grey 6 area into this warm grey 5. This is a purplish tone, so I think we're going to come in with a bit of purple along here. And that's warm grey 5. And you can see that I'm following this curve of this head. I'm just going to use the warm grey 5 all along here. Purplish tone. I can see purple and greenish tones. I have to get some purple in here, and that's going straight down. So this is, I'm just going to get the warm grey 5 down, go over that blue there, and then we'll come in with the darker colours. So you can see I've not gone in, I'm not building up from warm grey 1 through to 2 to 3, 4 and 5. I'm going straight in with the darker colours because it is a dark area that we're filling in. Not bringing that warm grey 5 all the way down into the white area yet. I'm going to leave that a gap. I'm not quite sure if I want like a warm grey 3 there instead. So this is warm grey 4. Okay, I'm going to bring in the dark indigo again. I'm going to add some of these blue tones first. So just following the shape, still referring back to this reference photo. and making sure that my fur is still going in the right direction. Very lightly adding this blue, dark indigo. And then I do want a purple, so I think I'm going to go in. Let me have a look. I've got the purple violet here. May use the mauve instead, but purple violet, this might be okay. Yeah, this is fine. So this is purple violet. Just along the top of this head here. A little bit in here. Okay. I'm going to get the black. I'm just going to darken. This is quite a dark bit here, so I'm just going to go in, just darken here. Straight over with a black, fairly hard at pressure. Again, following that fur direction. I'm just going to sharpen this. So I'm just going to, I've sharpened this, so I've got a nice sharp point. And we have got a whisker here. And I am going to add this in now, because this is like a point of reference for this part of the head. That sort of goes up there, and then we have a little one coming out of there. And then I can just make these wispy hairs that are coming off. And then we've got some whiskers here, which are curving there. And one there. Let's use this black. Just to darken here. Okay, then I'm going in with, I'm going to use Paynes Grey. The Paynes Grey, and that's going to go over the top of that black, and then the Paynes Grey. And I'm going to use that along here, over the top of that purple, like so. I've got a Coal Grey 6. Now I'm using the Coal Grey 6 instead of the Paynes Grey here because I don't want it to be as blue in tone. I find the Paynes Grey is just that little bit more blue. As we get up here, it's not as blue a tone. Now to do these hairs that are sort of coming off his head, release your pressure as you're going off the page. So you're going up and off. So you just want to release that pressure and it'll give you the tapered look. And then I'm just going to come down here with the Coal Grey 6. Paynes Grey. So it's all about now just adding these layers. Short pencil strokes, following the fur direction is going to help us create this fur. Okay, got the dark indigo again, just in here. And this will take some time because obviously it's black fur. We're going to have to build up the dark shades, but we'll get there. I'm going to go over the top of that with the Coal Grey 6. I've got Coal Grey 6. May darken this again with the black. May use the black more as a glaze. Okay, then I've got the Paynes Grey coming out of this black here. And back to the Cold Grey 6. I'm just going to get that black, and I'm just going to darken here and glaze. I'm not pressing hard where this Paynes Grey was, just glazing over. Over the top of that. I've now got my Tombow, and I'm just going to erase these graphite lines. I'm going to start bringing these two areas together nicely. And then where's my brush? Okay, so I need the Cold Grey 1, and I'm just going to bring this Cold Grey 1 across, blend it back into this area where we've got it already, and I'm going to just bring it about halfway over, like so. I'm then going to get Warm Grey 2. That's not Warm Grey 2. Warm Grey 2. Blend into that Paynes Grey black area. Warm Grey 2, and bring that down here. And I'm just going to use this Warm Grey 2 as a marker as to where this is starting to blend into the darker fur. That's Warm Grey 2. Got that Warm Grey 1 just as a base layer here where I've not got any base layer. Right, so this is where we want this area to blend nicely into the darker area. So we're going to use the Warm Grey 5. Yeah, Warm Grey 5. I'm just going to bring that down and lightly onto the Warm Grey 2, but I'm not covering all the Warm Grey 2 area up. Just want enough of the Warm Grey 2 to be showing, but it's going to help us blend these two areas together. Cold Grey, Warm Grey 6, and darken this area. It's darker, and then we've starting to get a blend. Cold Grey 6 over the top of that. So I want this dog to be quite a neutral tone here. I don't want it to be too cold in colour, which is why I'm mixing the two tonal greys together. Okay. So I'm going to use the Warm Grey 3, and I'm just going to ever so gently blend them, and then we'll use the Warm Grey 1 over the top just to help blend. And then any areas where you can see is not blended nice, I'm just going to go back in with the Warm Grey 6, and I'm just going to start tapering the edges, so lightening my edges coming into this lighter Warm Grey area. And then I'll go back over with the Warm Grey 1. And I'm getting that nice blend now. So we're starting to get this nice blend between this white patch and the darker patch, darker fur. And it may take a couple of layers to get a nice seamless blend that you want. Don't worry, take your time. You don't have to rush. For me, it's nice to get a piece done quickly, but I like the overall finish of a piece. So if that means it takes me longer to do a piece, it takes me longer. Okay, I'm then going to go in with the Cold Grey 4. So we do have a marking here. So I'm using the Cold Grey 4 just to map out. Let me sharpen this. Okay, so I'm just using the Cold Grey 4 to map in this darker marking of the black fur. It's not all white here. And again, I'm constantly looking at my reference photos, seeing where the fur changes direction. Kind of comes up here like that. And then that comes across. I'm not colouring it all in because there is some white showing through there. Okay. And then I'm just going to get the warm grey one again as the base layer here. And we're just going to go over the top of this, where this warm grey tone is. I'm just going to go over the top of that with this cold grey 4. Just lightly over it, just to help blend again. Just a bit too warm in colour. Okay. And I'm going to go in with the dark indigo, going over that bit there. Fill this in with dark indigo. And then I'm going to go over it with black. Over that dark indigo. Not pressed hard, just enough for this black to glaze over the top. And then the warm grey 6. Okay, I feel like this area here needs to be a bit darker, so I'm just going to get the black here. I'm just going to glaze, following the fur direction still. And I'm just going to follow where it just needs to be a bit darker. Okay. Then back to the warm grey one, and I'm just going to add this base layer along here now. I'm not doing along here yet, so that's going to blend into this ear, and I want to get the ear done first before we do that part of the fur. Okay, so that's the warm grey one base layer. I'm then going in with Paynes Grey, and again I'm just following the fur direction, tapering pencil strokes there. And this is where the fur starts to change to come up and over the head there. Just going to get the dark indigo. It just comes up and over there. Okay. And then got the cold grey 6. Just to help blend there, and then I'm going to use the Paynes Grey again and just press a little bit harder. The more layers you get on the Fabriano, the more it feels like butter to draw on. That's what I love. I love when you can feel that buttery surface. You know you've got enough layers down. Okay, and then I've got the black. Along here again. Yeah, I'm just going to go back in with the Paynes Grey again just to help darken. Doesn't need to be too dark, I just want that a little bit darker. It does start to get lighter. I'm going over with the purple violet, just where I can see this purpley edge. And I'm not pressing too hard, I just want that glaze of purple along here. I can see. Okay. Get the warm grey one again. Now this is where, so obviously we've got the muzzle still here, and then it's curving up where the stop of the dog is, and then following that fur. So we really need to focus on the fur direction at this point. That's going to come down here where he's got like a white whisker. And it's going to start curving upwards. And that's going to blend into the nose. Right, so I am going to get the dark indigo, and I'm going to make sure I'm following this fur direction, because it's important that we get the shape of this nose correct here. And just where I've got this base layer. I know I've missed a little bits, we will come back. Just want to get some of this fur in. And then the Paynes Grey on top of that. May need to sharpen my Paynes Grey, it's a bit blunt at the end. Hoping this is going to look pretty nice though when it's done. You're going to see all these bluish tones coming through the fur. Okay, I'm going to use the, no, let's use the warm grey 5 here as it curves upwards. You can see I've not really focused too much on like fur detail, because the more layers you add, obviously I'm doing short pencil strokes, following the direction of the fur, and the more layers you add, the more you're going to get that effect of fur naturally coming through. And then the Paynes Grey just over the top here. Right, it's going to start blending where this eye is now. Let me just move this across so you can see. So we're going to come back to this eye, and I'm going to get my warm grey one, and this is where it sort of blends into this bit of fur. I'm going to start darkening this fur up around this eye as well. So this is where we really have to be mindful of the fur direction. So I'm going to get the Paynes Grey going over this eye. It's curving upwards there. So you really need to focus on the fur direction here. It's really important that we get the fur correct. And then it's going to cross here. And that's where it goes into the fur there. Okay, so you can see we've curved it up. It's curling into the fur there, and then we're going to curl it here. So it's really important that we're making sure that we are following all this direction of the fur. Let's just get this warm grey. I'm just going to do a base layer here as well. I'm going to get all this to start blending. Looking like it's all part of the same picture now. So this is just the warm grey one as the base layer. So this is quite a big section to work on, but it will come together. as we start applying the darker tones. So this is Paynes Grey still. Just going to keep following that fur direction. And I'm going over where we've got it on this eye, because this is going to be really dark. I'm going to darken this up quite a bit. Right, I'm just going to get the black, and I'm going in with the black along here now. Again, following the fur direction. I'm using this Polychromos black. It's going to show that dark indigo underneath. Paynes Grey underneath, sorry. May go in with dark indigo. Give it a nice bluish tone. It's not going to be the darkest black. If you want the really darkest black, go in with like the Derwent Drawing or the Luminance blacks. Something that's more opaque than the Polychromos. But we can get it dark just by going over these areas again and again. You can see how dark we're getting it now. I'm just going to keep bringing that up and over this eye here. I'm definitely going to have to darken this eye up a little bit. The skin around the eye. And then it's darker here as well. I do like when you start adding this fur in though. They really do start coming to life. And black fur is one of my favourites to draw. It takes time to build up the darkness that you want, but it is fun. Right, I'm going back in with the Paynes Grey. Going over that black. Still following the fur direction. And then I've got, actually I'm just going to get the dark indigo. Very lightly, I don't want this to be very prevalent in the picture, but I just want to glaze over the top of these areas. And get the Paynes Grey again. And see, just to get it really dark, it is a lot of layers. But we're creating depth in this fur as well. And then I've got the black again. But I'm not pressing hard here, I'm just glazing the black over. Because I want those blue tones to show through. Like so. So you can see we're starting to get a nice shape to this head now. So sticking with the Paynes Grey, I'm just going to go over here again. Blends. It's curving up and over this head here. Right, and then the black. So it is going to be just a lot of Paynes Grey and then glazing over the black and the dark indigo in places. I'm not pressing hard with the black. I don't want this to be black here. Not yet anyway. Okay. Yeah, the dark indigo. Where that warm grey was. And then the warm grey 5 over that dark indigo. So all these colours are going to just shine through the layers of the Polychromos. And then back to the Paynes Grey. Now if you just wanted to use Paynes Grey and black, feel free. I just like adding all these different shades of the warm greys and the cold greys for that extra little bit of depth to the fur. I find it really works. And then the Paynes Grey. Gonna just get the purple violet again, very lightly, just where I can see this like purplish tone. And then back to the Paynes Grey. It's going to be over the top of this dog's head here. And then I've got the black, just to blend these two areas together, and then I'll use the Paynes Grey again just to darken up. It needs to be darker. Paynes Grey. Actually, let's get the warm grey 6. I'm going to be a bit too bluish otherwise. Just go over with a warm grey 6. Yeah, that's better. And then we've got dark bit here. Just gonna use the warm grey 6 there. And always looking back at this reference photo, making sure that I've followed that fur direction. We want that fur direction to be correct. I'm going to just glaze this over the top of this Paynes Grey as well. Okay, and then I'm going to get the Paynes Grey. Again, just another layer on top of that warm grey 6. Not too high the pressure, just to add a little more tone. Like so. Right, get the warm grey one again. I'm going to start coming down here. I want this eye to look connected. So we're just going to start coming down here a little bit, but obviously we haven't connected this muzzle yet. We will do that, but I'm debating whether to finish this white muzzle area once we've got more of this black face in. Once the black fur's in, even if we just leave a line, it's going to be easier to judge the tonal values that I need to help blend these two areas together. And it's always nice when you've got the fur in on the face, because it starts to help the animal look more alive. Right, so I'm leaving this gap here for a whisker that I can see, and there's a bit of the white fur there, and then it's kind of coming downwards like this is this fur. So I'm leaving a gap where I'm going to help these two areas blend together. I just want this eye to look like it's in place. Also, once we've got this done, the fur gets a bit longer, so it's going to be easier to get this short fur done before we go into the fur that starts getting longer in length. So that's the warm grey one down. I'm going to go in first with the dark indigo. So I've got the dark indigo, and again looking at this reference photo and seeing the fur direction, and making sure that I follow this fur direction. going to look nice when we've got all this fur connected properly. You really start to see that border collie face come into life, especially when we get this muzzle end connected. Right, then I've got the Paynes Grey. I'm not too worried if I don't get this nice whisker nice and straight, because I can go over with the brush and pencil titanium white or my slice tool. If you wanted to indent those whiskers, indent them before you use the colours over the top, which I might do down here. We may indent these whiskers here, so I can show you what I mean. So this is the Paynes Grey. Just going to glaze a little bit of this purple along this edge, purple violet, and then I've got the black over the top here. This to be quite dark, so I'm going to go over this quite a few times with the black. May also go over the top with the Paynes Grey just to help darken it up. Yeah, let's do the Paynes Grey, because I need to darken here as well, and that'll help blend these two bits again. So you want these different transitions of this. Obviously it's a black and white dog, but we've got these different shades, greys going on. So by doing these different transitions between the colours, I'm going to get that natural look to the fur, and by making it blend smoothly, it's going to look even more natural as well. Okay, right. I'm going to get the Warm Grey 5, and I'm going to start this bit of the eye. I'm going to get, it's like a pinkish brownish tone. I think I'm going to use the burnt sienna. No, let's use the Caput Mortem. I've got Caput Mortem here. Very lightly, don't press too hard. Over that Warm Grey 5 and into that fur there. And along here. It's lighter in the middle there. And then I'm going to go over with the Coal Grey 6. I'm going to just have to add that darker line back in. Blend these areas together. Not pressing too hard with the Coal Grey 6. I still want that Caput Mortem to show through. Blend into that fur. So the Coal Grey 6 isn't as blue a tone as the Paynes Grey, but it's going to be still a natural blend into this black fur. I'm coming over the top here. Just get that Caput Mortem again. And then the Warm Grey 3 in this lighter area here. We've just need a bit more Caput Mortem. Okay, and then just get that black, because this line's kind of disappeared a bit. if you need to darken any areas that you can see, just go back in and darken them. It's all going to blend nicely now. Like so. Okay, so we're just going to do the same on the bottom bit here. Got the kaput mortar. A warm grey 5, just to blend here over the top. Cold grey 6 to help with the blending here. Actually, I don't need to do as much there. Like so. Right, I'm just going to use the cold grey, warm grey 5 along the top of this eye. Circular motions here. This is more like the skin, the eyelid of the eye that we can see. Just to darken there. And then the Paynes Grey. Probably end up with black here, but just use the Paynes Grey for now. Just to really darken along there. So you can see we're starting to really get some nice fur definition. Just want to keep looking. If you see any areas that don't look as smoothly blended, go back over them. So I've got the warm grey one. We're going to just get this bit blended here, and then we're going to start and probably finish with blending some of this area together. Like I said, this has taken a bit longer than I expected, but that's fine. I've got the Paynes Grey. It's more because it's quite a complicated area, focusing on it. The rest of the piece I may describe, I guess, how I've done the fur. I don't know. What would you want? Do you want me to keep doing this in real time, or this black fur? Because obviously it does take time to build up the layers. This is the dark indigo. Or do you think, now that I've described the techniques that I'm using, that you'll be okay in the Paynes Grey? Because I could do I could speed it up. I could do like time lapses. Or we can just keep doing it in real time. I'm trying not to make it too long a tutorial, but obviously these pieces do take a lot of time. So this is black, and I'm just trying to blend these two areas together nicely now. I'm going to get the warm grey 6 here. Yeah, that's better. And that's curving round. Paynes Grey. But yeah, let me know what you want. If you want me to keep doing it real time, I will. I just conscious that it's quite a long tutorial. Trying to do like an hour each section. Obviously, still takes a lot of time. Okay. We're getting there though. He's looking quite cute. Right. Let's start blending some of this muzzle together. So I'm just going to erase some of this graphite. Yeah. Careful when you brush anything away with that black being down. Can't get that. There we go. Okay. Right, so I'm going to get the cold grey one, because we use cold grey for this white muzzle. Just going to blend it into here, almost where the white muzzle ends. And I'm going to get the warm grey one. Again, I'm following the fur direction, so I'm still looking at the reference photo, but we are following the fur direction a lot closely now. Got that whisker. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that whisker because it's a bit too wide, so I'm just going to get the Paynes Grey. Probably should have just got rid of it earlier. There's Paynes Grey there. I'll add the whiskers in after. So, that's coming down here. Follow in that fur direction. And get the coal grey one again, and I'm just going to go over the top of that warm grey. It's going to help blend when it comes to the blending of these areas. Okay, let me sharpen my Paynes Grey. So I've got my Paynes Grey, and I'm going to start marking in for the fur direction and leaving gaps to help with the transition between this white fur into the black fur. So I'm just constantly looking at the reference photo. We're just going to start leaving some gaps. Now, you could do all this in this Paynes Grey and then going over with your slice tool. But I'm doing it this way just to show another technique of how you can draw this transition, just by leaving these little white gaps. And you can start to see how we're going to get this nice transition between the white and black fur here. So I'm just going to bring this up here, and I'm just following the fur direction. Again, it doesn't matter if these aren't accurate to the reference photo. Just darkening areas as I'm coming down. You see, we're now getting this nice transition. This just isn't a bit dark enough. Paynes Grey. May go over the top with this actually, with coal grey. You can see though, the more that I'm adding in where this is blending, I'm starting to get this transition between the two areas, and that's coming into that area that we've done there. So all I'm doing, I'm just looking at the reference photo and mapping in these areas. Like so. I'm just going to get the warm grey 5 back over this bit. I've got the purple violet again, because there is some purple tones here. Just very lightly, I'm not pressing hard with this purple violet. I'm going to use the coal grey one in this white bit, because we've got no colour here. It's just the white of the paper. So this is the coal grey one. I'm going to go over the top of these markings there. It sure all blends in. Over the top here. I'm going to get the warm grey one as well. It's going to give us a nice neutral white colour here. Over the top of them. Okay, and can you see, because we've got this dark area around it, which you can darken up if you need to, just like I'm doing every now and then, the fur is really looking like white fur. So when we said before that we were using coal grey 6 and warm grey 3 in this white fur, and it does look quite dark at first, when you start coming in with this white fur, we've really got the contrast, and it's really helping us with the colour of this guy. Just going to get the warm grey 6 just to darken here. It's a bit too light. Okay, so you can see now that it's really starting to come together nicely. Just going to get the Paynes Grey, darken under this eye. Oh, this is the black actually, so that's not Paynes Grey. That's Paynes Grey. Black was fine there. Just go over the top of the Paynes Grey. like so. So really now you can start to see we're really getting this face coming together. So I'm just going to get the warm grey one again over the top of this eye. Get some of the more of this eye into place. So I've got my Paynes Grey, and I'm just going to go over, and I'm really making sure I fill in the fur direction. You can see how much this fur direction has changed at this side of his face. It's coming down here, curving round his eye. It's going to curve up and over his head. Really focusing on this fur direction. I think next time I do a tutorial, I'll make it shorter. Like maybe we'll do a smaller piece or just a section of an animal. May do something on drafting film as well. I'm going to get the warm grey 5 just to get this skin blended in here. And then I've got the black, because it is dark here, and I'm just gonna get this black in, and then I think I may end the tutorial here because it's been an hour, so I'm trying to keep them to about an hour long. But let me know if you want them to be a bit longer, like maybe I could have kept it going, done down here, but just as an introduction into getting this white fur blended, and adding some of the black fur. I think this is a nice start. Maybe the next one I will do longer. I may also do some time lapse because it is a lot of between the Paynes Grey and the black, the warm greys. It's just a lot of transitioning between these colours now for this black fur. But let me know what you want. I will do it either way. Just get the black again. Actually, let's keep Paynes Grey. Got the warm grey 5 here. Just going to darken this bottom eyelid as well. Blending into that fur so it all keeping that nice blended look. I just needed it to be a bit darker. Along here, Paynes Grey, and that's the black here, just to go over this area of the eye. Okay, so yeah, it's been about an hour that we've worked on this guy, so you can really start to see his head coming together now. So I think we'll leave it here. I know it doesn't look like much. And then next time we will keep coming, well, we're going to probably do his ear and the top of his head. And then we can start coming down his face and finishing down here. But let me know if you want all that to be in real time, or if you're happy for some of the areas to be time-lapsed, if it's going to be the same kind of technique and colours. I'll do a voiceover of the time-lapsed areas. But yeah, let me know what you would prefer. So this is where we are. You can see all of the piece coming together now. We've got this blend coming into the fur nicely between the white and the black, and we're really starting to see his colour coming through. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for sticking around if you have. Please subscribe if you haven't already to see more techniques, tips and tutorials. Like the video, it really helps me out, and I will see you all next time. Bye everybody.